Hello, driller class of 2016, Friday afternoon, rainy. I know everybody's stressed and yet ready for prom. I didn't get through the AP government packet this year, first time it's ever happened. So I thought I would just take about 3 or 4 minutes, get through the things I didn't get through in class. You can watch a quick video on it right now, and hopefully it'll help you out a little bit. Okay, so this would be really the only thing I didn't get through are interest groups, and I'll talk about that really briefly here. First of all, when we talk about interest groups, there are 3 different theories you should know. The elite theory, that's the bell. For anybody not from Bakersfield High School, it's the weirdest bell in the history of the world. I don't know exactly when we started it, but it takes a while. So I'm just going to talk over it. So the elite theory of power is this idea that only a few people in the country actually control everything. It's this idea that, you see it on both sides. In the left, when the left talks about the banks and Wall Street and the billionaires, and the right, when they talk about, bureaucrats and the media. It's this idea that just a few people in the country who have all the power control things, and essentially they don't care about the common interests of the country, and so that's the elite theory of power. The other theory is called pluralism, and that's James Madison's view that you have lots of different theories, lots of different factions, lots of different groups that have power, and they have to come together and compromise and build consensus in order to get things done. And then finally you have hyperpluralism, which is the idea that you have so many different groups that it kind of paralyzes the public policy apparatus, and you can't get anything done at all, right? So that's that. Now, also, don't forget the difference between an interest group and a political party. An interest group tends to be single issued. It tends to be pretty ideological. They don't run candidates. They just support candidates, right? Whereas political parties, they aren't single issued. They have platforms. They run candidates, and they actually are in control of the government. They're the ones who actually write the laws eventually, right? The party members, the political parties actually control what happens if they can win the elections. So that's the difference there. Political action committees we've talked about, very easy to understand. They just raise money and they donate the money. Lots of political action committees. They've increased a lot in the last 20 years. Political action committees can donate up to $5,000 a campaign. At least different 5 campaigns they have to donate to. And remember, super PACs are kind of unlimited. That it's unlimited spending for a candidate, but they can't be aligned with a candidate per se. Even though most of the people who work in the super PACs used to work for the candidate somewhere in their life. Yeah. Okay, so that's that there. What is an issue network? Remember, issue networks are when you have groups of people or groups of groups, actually, that come together for one purpose. It's very similar to an interest group, except sometimes it's different groups coming together. Now, this is important. List 5 techniques that interest groups use. They oftentimes, and there's so many, but they lobby. That just means to sit down and have meetings with policymakers. Electioneering, that means to try and get people elected, man the phone booths or go door to door, do the signs. So that's electioneering. They do campaign contributions. I mean, they give a lot of money. That happens. Litigation, if you're the ACLU or the NAACP, sometimes you take your issues to court to try and get a legal remedies for the injustice that you're bothered by. And then finally, grassroots. Sometimes if you do things on a local level, kind of at the university or at an individual high school, that's a grassroots effort. So those are 5 techniques that they use. There's some pretty famous interest groups. You should know they're one big single issue. The AARP is for the elderly, not the old, the elderly. You have the NRA, which is for Second Amendment rights. Sierra Club cares about environmental issues. The NAACP, the kind of civil rights of African Americans. You have now the National Organization of Women. So you have any number of important interest groups that literally they are single issued most of the time. They have their one issue, and that's why oftentimes they are a little bit ideological. They tend not to be moderate institutions. So at any rate, this is only 4.5 minutes. I hope it clarifies things. I hope you'll watch it. I don't know when you're going to watch it, but hopefully sometime before Tuesday morning. Thank you. Bye-bye.